So we are going to create the logic for a new galaxy first. So when we click our button, then it will go to the function handle new. That's what we defined here for the click event. So let's go to our view model. Let's find the handle new function. That's this one. And when we press this, a dialog should open up, and we should hide the edit button and show the create button. We're going to do this with plain JavaScript with jQuery. So let's say the # save create button. This is the create button. We want to show this button, so show. And the edit button is called save edit button. So we are going to hide that one. So it's save edit button. And we want to hide this one. Then we want to reset the fields in the dialog. So we can do this with this function we have. It's still empty at the moment, but we are going to fix that in an instant. And after we've done all that, we want the dialog itself to be open. So handle open, that's also a function we have. So we have two functions that we're calling here, but they're still empty at the moment. So let's add that logic first. Let's go to reset fields first. That's this one. So we want to reset the fields inside them. Let's call them input name, and we'll set it to null. And we also have the ID, input ID, and we are going to set that also to null. Then we need to handle this function, that's the handle open. And here we are going to open the dialog. So # and the name of the ID was galaxy model dot OJ dialog. We are going to open it with Oracle Jet, and it's called open. No, long quotes, like so. Save the file. Now we are referencing a dialog, the galaxy model, but we still don't have anything in our view for our dialog. So let's do that first. We will go to our galaxy. This is our model. Let's remove the to-do comment in our body, and let's add a label and input fields in there. I'll just copy and paste it as it's something very simple. Let's fix the indentation and I'll explain what's happening here. Like so, and okay, clean. So we have a label and an input, a label and an input. So the first label and input is for the ID, and the second one is for the input name. So the label only gets the data binding for the translation of the string, and it's for this input. The input is of the type text, it's read only, it's not required, and we are also defining that it's an Oracle Jet input text, and we are giving it the value, the input ID that we defined in our view model. And basically we are just doing the same for the input name. The only difference is this one is required, and we named it input name. In our dialog footer we still have 3 buttons. We also need to add our data binding there, so let's do that. So data bind, and when we click the cancel button, the dialog needs to close. So this one we'll call it handle close, and we also need to define which component it is. It's an OJ component. It will take the object where we can define our button. So this will be an Oracle Jet button, and we also need to define a label for it, and the label will also be coming from our bundles. So it's oj.translations.get translated string, and the string we are looking for here is cancel. Then we can just copy this data binding and paste it for the two buttons below it, as it's the same. We just need to change the functions for the click and the strings. So this one, for the save create button, it will be handle create, and the string we are looking for here is create. And for the edit button, the function here is called handle edit, and the string we are looking for here is called update. Let's save this file. So let's go back to our view model, and we need to listen to our inputs, so our input ID and our input name. So go to the bottom of your view model, and let's say self input name. This needs to be a knockout observable, and we can do the same for our input ID. This needs to be a knockout observable too. Save both your view and your view model, then go to the page, refresh, click the button New Galaxy, and a dialog should pop up. Now when we click cancel or create, nothing happens because we didn't add the functionality for these two buttons yet. So let's do that first. So we are going back to our view, and this is the cancel button in our pop-up, and it's doing the handle close function when we click it. So let's look for the handle close, and that's this one. Basically it's the same as the open, we only need to change it to close. Save it, go back to your page, it will refresh. So let's press it and let's press cancel. So that's working as expected now. So now let's add the logic to create. So we go back to our view. This is the create button. When we click it, we go to the handle create function. So let's look for that. This is the one. And this one will do two things. It will call the create function, and it will close afterwards. So self.handle close as the function we just wrote. So we have this one already in here, we can just reuse it, but the create is something new, so we need to add some logic here. So it's self.collection dot create, and we are creating a new build model, and this is a function we have in our view model that we need to add some logic later on. And we need also to pass in an object with the following options. Weight is true. The headers will be coming from our basic authentication, so we can say new self.myBasicAuth.get header. Then we need our success function with the callback response. We can say self.collection. We need to refresh it, and we also need to reset the fields of our inputs in the dialog. Then we also need an error handler, so that's also a function with a callback function, and this will be taking 3 arguments, so it's a jQuery